Heal my mom and I'll make you see again." And he laughed until a miracle happened. Dr. Thomas Mitchell walked down the hallway of the public hospital with measured, deliberate steps. His fingers lightly brushed against the white wall, guided by the familiar sounds echoing through the corridors for the past 2 years. The hushed chatter of nurses, the rattle of medication carts, the constant beeping of machines. Then he felt a small, gentle touch on his arm. A sweet yet determined little voice cut through the hospital noise. "Doctor, you're the doctor who can't see, right?" Thomas stopped. The blunt question, asked with a child's innocence, caught him off guard. He turned toward the voice and crouched slightly. "Yes, little one. And who are you?" "I'm Lily. My mum is really sick in that room over there." The girl pointed, though Thomas couldn't see the gesture. "Doctor, I have a deal to make with you." Thomas smiled for the first time that day. Children always had a unique way of seeing the world. "What kind of deal, Lily?" "Heal my mum and I'll make you see again." The smile faded from Thomas's face. For a moment, the hallway fell silent. Then, a bitter laugh escaped his throat. "Lily, sweetheart, it doesn't work like that. I wish it did, but yes, it does." The girl's voice grew firmer. "I know it works. You just have to trust me." Thomas felt a tightness in his chest. How many times had he begged the heavens for a second chance? How many nights had he dreamed of seeing his daughter Emily's face again, now 16 and distant from him since the accident? "Lily, where's your dad? Or another guardian?" He tried to change the subject. "It's just me and my mum. And she's really bad, doctor. She hasn't woken up properly in a week." For the first time in 2 years, Thomas felt something beyond his own pain. The desperation in the girl's voice was all too familiar. The same desperation he felt when he looked in the mirror and saw only darkness. "What's your mum's full name, Lily?" "Jennifer Taylor Wilson. She's 28. Thomas knew the case. Jennifer had been admitted after complications from a routine gallbladder surgery. What should have been simple had turned into a nightmare when she developed an unidentified systemic infection. "Lily, I'll look over your mum's chart, okay?" "Thank you, doctor." The joy in her voice was contagious. "But don't forget our deal." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us newcomers a lot. Now, back to the story. Thomas spent the rest of the morning reviewing Jennifer's case. His colleagues had run every possible test, but something was being overlooked. As an experienced doctor before the accident, he knew answers weren't always in machines but in careful observation. At lunch, Thomas decided to visit Jennifer's room. Lily sat in a plastic chair beside the bed, holding her mother's hand. "Hi, doctor. You came to see my mom?" "I did, Lily. Can you tell me how she was before she got sick?" "My mom's the strongest person in the world. She works overnight cleaning offices and takes care of me during the day. Never complains." Her voice trembled. "But before the surgery, she kept saying she had a weird pain in her chest. Not where her gallbladder was, more to the side." Thomas moved closer to the bed. His trained hands began examining Jennifer, using touch as his eyes. He checked her pulse, temperature, breathing. Something was wrong, but he couldn't pinpoint what. "Lily, does your mother have any heart problems?" "I don't know, doctor, but she always said her heart beat differently when she was nervous, like this." The girl tapped her small fists against her chest in an irregular rhythm. Thomas stopped. That rhythm wasn't normal. He placed the stethoscope on Jennifer's chest and listened carefully. There was something there, a subtle arrhythmia that might have gone unnoticed by the other doctors focused on the post-surgical infection. "Lily, you're a very smart girl. I think you just gave me an important clue. Does that mean you'll be able to cure my mom? I'll do everything in my power." Thomas left the room with newfound hope. He ordered specific cardiac tests for Jennifer and waited anxiously for the results. Meanwhile, Lily stayed by his side, following him through the hallways like a small, determined shadow. "Dr. Thomas, can I tell you a secret?" "Of course, Lily." "I draw eyes. Lots of eyes. And every time I draw them, I think about what it would be like if you could see them. Thomas felt his heart race. There was something about the innocence of that girl that moved him in a way he couldn't explain. "Why do you draw eyes, Lily?" "Because my mom always said eyes are the window to the soul. And I want you to see my soul, doctor. Then you'll understand I really can help you see again." At that moment, Dr. Richard Thompson, head of the surgery department, approached them. "Thomas, I need to talk to you." Lily sensed the tension in the air and stepped back slightly but kept listening. "Richard, I found something important about patient Jennifer Taylor Wilson. She has an arrhythmia that might be complicating her recovery." "Thomas, with all due respect, you shouldn't be treating patients. My condition doesn't affect my medical knowledge." Thomas's voice grew firmer. "I may not see, but my other senses are sharper than ever. It's hospital protocol. Doctors with visual impairments can't make diagnoses without constant supervision." Lily took a step forward, her small voice echoing down the hallway. "Dr. Thomas is the only one really trying to help my mom." Richard looked at the girl in surprise, then turned back to Thomas. "Let's talk in my office." As the two doctors walked away, Lily stood frozen in the hallway, clutching a piece of paper with drawings of colorful eyes. Tears began to stream down her face, but she quickly wiped them away. She couldn't give up now. In Richard's office, the argument heated up. "Thomas, I understand your desire to help, but the rules exist for a reason. You lost your sight in a car accident 2 years ago. Since then, you haven't performed any medical procedures." "And you think that makes me less of a doctor?" Thomas slammed his fist on the table. "I was the best surgeon at this hospital for over 15 years. You were, Thomas. You were. But things have changed. Things have changed for you, Richard. For me, being a doctor was never just about seeing. It was about feeling, listening, understanding the patient as a whole. Look, you can keep working here, but only in administrative roles. That's the final decision." Thomas left the office shattered. In the hallway, Lily waited for him, holding a glass of water. "Doctor, I brought you some water." His voice was hoarse. "Thank you, Lily." Thomas drank the water, trying to steady his emotions. "I need to tell you something. I might not be able to take care of your mom anymore." "Why?" "Because the other doctors think I can't do my job because I can't see." Lily stayed silent for a long moment. Then, she took Thomas's hand and placed it on her face. "Doctor, are you seeing my face right now?" Thomas gently touched the girl's face. He felt her soft cheeks, her small nose, her eyes damp with tears. "In a different way, Lily. In a different way. So you can take care of my mom the different way too. Come with me." Lily guided Thomas back to Jennifer's room. The cardiac test results hadn't arrived yet, but the patient's condition seemed to have worsened during the afternoon. Her breathing was more labored and her fever had risen. "Lily, I need to examine your mom again. Can you help me?" "How?" "Tell me how she is. Use your words to be my eyes." Lily climbed onto the chair and watched her mother carefully. "She's very pale, doctor, and there are tiny purple spots on her neck that weren't there before." Thomas moved closer and gently touched Jennifer's neck. The spots Lily had described were petechiae, small bleeds under the skin that could indicate serious heart problems. "Lily, you just gave me very important information. Your mom needs to go to the cardiac ICU right away. Will she be okay?" Thomas hesitated. Jennifer's condition was more serious than he had initially thought. "I'll do everything I can, Lily, but I need your help. Will you be my eyes?" "I will." "And will you be my mom's heart doctor?" "I will." That night, Thomas worked like he hadn't in 2 years. He used all the knowledge he'd gained throughout his career, adapting his techniques to his new reality. Lily stayed by his side, describing every change in Jennifer's appearance with the precision of an experienced nurse. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. During the early hours, Jennifer had a heart attack. Thomas was in the hospital doing his rounds when he heard the alarm from her room. He ran toward the sound, closely followed by Lily, who had fallen asleep in a chair in the hallway. "What's happening, doctor?" "Your mom's heart is beating too fast, Lily. I need to help her." Dr. Richard and other doctors came running. The situation was critical. and there was no time for protocol discussions. Thomas, you know this case best. What do you suggest? She needs immediate electrical cardioversion, but first, I need to be sure about the exact location of the arrhythmia. Thomas placed his hands on Jennifer's chest, feeling the irregular beats. He closed his eyes and focused, using all his experience to identify the problem. Lily, how do your mum's lips look now? They're turning a little blue, doctor. And her hands. They're getting cold too. Every description from Lily complemented what Thomas sensed through touch and hearing. Together, they formed a diagnostic system that worked better than he had imagined. Richard, the arrhythmia is coming from the left ventricle. It needs to be 150 joules, no more than that. Dr. Richard prepared the defibrillator following Thomas's instructions. Lily held her mother's hand tightly. Mom, Lily is here. Dr. Thomas is going to fix your heart, just like you always took care of mine. The electric shock was delivered. For a few seconds that felt like an eternity. The heart monitor was silent. Then, slowly, the beats returned to a normal rhythm. Jennifer opened her eyes for the first time in a week. Lily. Her voice was weak but clear. Mom. Lily threw herself into Jennifer's arms, crying with joy. Thomas stepped back, feeling a mix of relief and emotion he hadn't experienced in a long time. He had saved a life using his hands, his ears, and the borrowed eyes of a 4-year-old. Dr. Thomas, Lily called to him, still holding her mother. Now it's my turn to keep my promise. Lily, sweetheart, you don't have to. Yes, I do. A deal is a deal. Lily got out of bed and walked over to Thomas. She placed her little hands over the doctor's closed eyes. Now close your eyes really tight and think of the person you most want to see in the world. Thomas obeyed. In the darkness of his mind, the face of his daughter Emily appeared. Brown hair, green eyes like her mother's, the smile he hadn't seen in 2 years. Now open them slowly. Thomas opened his eyes. For a moment he thought he saw a shadow, something different from the complete darkness that had been with him for so long. But soon the darkness returned. Lily. Wait, doctor. These things take a little time to work. Jennifer, still weak but conscious, watched the scene with tears in her eyes. Doctor, I don't know how to thank you. You saved my life. Actually, Jennifer, it was your daughter who saved me. Lily taught me there are different ways to see. Over the following days, as Jennifer recovered, Lily continued to accompany Thomas on his rounds. She had become his official eyes, describing patients, reading charts aloud, and helping him navigate the hospital in a way he'd never imagined possible. Dr. Richard, impressed by the results, called Thomas for a talk. Thomas, I have to admit, I was wrong. You've proven that being a doctor goes far beyond sight. Thank you, Richard. But I should say I didn't do it alone. Lily taught me things no medical school could. I'm starting a pilot program here at the hospital. We want to develop assistive medicine techniques that allow doctors with sensory disabilities to work to their full potential. And Lily. Lily can be our first junior assistant, officially, of course, with all the necessary paperwork and educational oversight. Thomas smiled. For the first time in 2 years, he felt he was on the right path. That afternoon, as Thomas and Lily made their rounds, a young woman appeared at the hospital reception, asking for Dr. Thomas Mitchell. Emily? The receptionist recognized the doctor's daughter. Your father is doing his rounds. Should I call him? Actually, I'd like to surprise him. Can you tell me where he is? Emily had read about Jennifer and Lily's case in the local paper. The story of a blind doctor who saved a life with a child's help had spread through the city. When she learned it was about her father, she decided it was time to reconnect. She found Thomas in the hallway, talking with Lily about the patients they'd visited. Dad? Thomas stopped. That voice he would recognize anywhere in the world. Emily? Is it really you? It's me, Dad. Lily looked from one to the other, sensing the emotion in the air. Dr. Thomas, is she your daughter? Yes, Lily. This is Emily, the one I've told you so much about. Hi, Emily. I'm Lily, your dad's eyes. Emily knelt to the girl's height. Nice to meet you, Lily. Thank you for taking care of my dad. Actually, he took care of my mum, but now we're a team. Thomas felt his heart overflow with emotion. The two most important people in his life were there together, talking like old friends. Dad, can we talk in private? Thomas and Emily stepped aside to a quieter corner of the hallway. Dad, I'm sorry for pulling away after the accident. I was so scared, so angry. I didn't know how to handle it all. Sweetheart, you don't have to apologize. I should have been stronger, should have sought help sooner. When I read about Lily and her mum, I realized you never stopped being the amazing doctor you always were. You just found a different way to do it. Emily, these last 2 years have been the hardest of my life, but they've also taught me the most. I've learned that sometimes we need to lose something to discover our true gifts. Father and daughter embraced for the first time in 2 years. Lily, who had been watching from a distance, approached timidly. Can I have a group hug? The three of them hugged in the middle of the hospital hallway. Staff and patients passing by stopped to watch the scene, many with tears in their eyes. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. In the weeks that followed, Thomas's life changed completely. With Lily's support and Emily's return, he developed innovative medical techniques that began attracting attention from other hospitals. Jennifer, fully recovered, went back to work, but now with reduced hours so she could accompany Lily in her hospital activities. One day, Lily arrived at the hospital with a serious expression. Dr. Thomas, I need to tell you something important. What is it, Lily? My mom is dating. Thomas laughed. And that's bad. I don't know. It's your Daniel, the nursing technician. Do you like him? Thomas had known Daniel for many years. He was a skilled professional and a kind-hearted person. I do like him, Lily. And you? I think he makes my mom smile. That's good, right? It's very good. Dr. Thomas, can I ask you something personal? Of course. Do you still feel sad about not being able to see? Thomas thought for a moment before answering. Sometimes I do, Lily. But I've learned there are different ways to see the world. Through your eyes, I see things I never noticed before. Like what? Like the courage of a 4-year-old girl who never gave up on her mum. Like how love can heal wounds that seem impossible to mend. Like how sometimes we lose something to gain something far more precious. Lily grew thoughtful. Doctor, do you think I really made you see again? Lily, you made me see things I'd never seen before, even when I had perfect vision. That afternoon, Dr. Richard called Thomas in for another conversation. Thomas, I have news. The pilot program was approved by the hospital board. Plus, 3 medical schools want to study your techniques. Richard, that's amazing. But I have one condition. What is it? Lily has to be involved in everything. She's not just my assistant, she's my partner. I've already spoken to her parents about it. Jennifer agrees, as long as it doesn't interfere with Lily's studies. And Lily, what does she think? Why don't you ask her yourself? Lily was waiting outside the office, playing with her eye drawings. Lily, do you want to work with me officially? Teach other doctors about assistive medicine? Lily's eyes lit up. Can I teach other doctors how to see with their hearts? You sure can. Then I accept, but I have one condition too. What is it? I want you to be my godfather when my mom marries Daniel. Thomas smiled, moved. It would be an honor, Lily. 6 months later, Thomas was participating in an international medical conference via video call, presenting his assistive medicine techniques. Lily was by his side, helping with the demonstrations. Medicine isn't just about seeing with your eyes, Thomas explained to the audience. It's about perceiving the patient as a whole, using all the senses available. Lily leaned toward the microphone. And when you lose one sense, the others grow stronger. My friend Dr. Thomas sees things doctors with perfect eyes can't. The audience applauded enthusiastically. After the presentation, Thomas and Lily were resting in the hospital garden when Emily approached. Dad, I have a surprise for you. What kind of surprise? Emily took her father's hand and placed it on her slightly rounded belly. "You're going to be a grandpa." Thomas was speechless for a few seconds, then tears began to stream from his eyes. "Emily, and Lily will be the baby's godmother," Emily continued, smiling at the girl. "Really?" Lily jumped with joy. "I'll teach the baby how to draw eyes. You can teach her, Lily, and you can teach her about so many other things too." That night, Thomas was at home, reflecting on everything that had happened since the day Lily had made her proposal in the hospital hallway. His life had changed completely, in a way he could never have imagined. The phone rang. It was Dr. Richard. "Thomas, I'm sorry to call so late, but we have an emergency at the hospital." "What happened?" "A young doctor lost his hearing in an accident and is devastated, thinking he can't work anymore. I thought you and Lily could talk to him." "Of course, Richard. We'll be there in 20 minutes. Thomas hung up the phone and smiled. He had found his new mission in life, to show other healthcare professionals that physical limitations don't have to be professional limitations. At the hospital, Thomas and Lily found the young doctor, Dr. Stephen Carter, sitting alone in a chair, his head in his hands. "Dr. Stephen," Lily approached. "My name is Lily, and this is my partner, Dr. Thomas." Stephen lifted his head. His eyes were red from crying. "Hello," he said, reading their lips. Thomas sat beside him. "Dr. Stephen, I know exactly how you feel. 2 years ago, I thought my career was over when I lost my sight." Stephen looked at him curiously. "How did you go back to work?" "With the help of a very special girl, and by learning that being a doctor isn't just about the senses we're born with. It's about our heart, our determination, and our ability to adapt." Lily pulled up a chair and sat in front of Stephen. "Dr. Stephen, can you teach me how to talk with my hands? My eye drawings won't work for you, but I can learn other ways to communicate." Stephen smiled for the first time that night. "You'd really want to learn?" "Of course, and then you can teach me about medicine, and I can teach you how to see with your heart." Thomas listened to the conversation with emotion. Lily was doing for Stephen what she had done for him, offering hope when everything seemed lost. Over the following weeks, Stephen joined Thomas and Lily's team. Together, they developed communication techniques for doctors with hearing loss, creating a revolutionary method that soon spread to other hospitals. One day, as the three of them were working, Lily made an observation that surprised everyone. "You know, I think the three of us make one complete doctor. Dr. Thomas sees with his heart, Dr. Stephen feels vibrations others don't, and I see everything with my eyes." "Lily," Thomas said, touched, "you just perfectly defined what teamwork in medicine is." "And you know what else?" Lily continued. "My mom always said people come into our lives for a reason. Dr. Thomas, you came into mine because you needed to learn how to see again. Dr. Stephen, you came because you needed to learn how to listen with your heart. And I came into your lives because I needed a bigger family." Jennifer, who had arrived to pick up Lily, heard her daughter's last words. "Lily is right. Sometimes God puts special people in our path when we need them most." Daniel, who was with Jennifer, approached the group. "Thomas, I have a request." "Go ahead, Daniel." "Jennifer and I are getting married next month. We'd like you to officiate the ceremony." Thomas was surprised. "Daniel, I'm not a priest. You don't have to be. For a civil ceremony, anyone can officiate with the right paperwork, and we'd love for it to be you." Lily clapped her hands in delight. "It's going to be the most beautiful wedding in the world." The wedding took place in the hospital garden on a sunny Saturday. Patients, staff, and doctors gathered for the ceremony. Thomas, visibly moved, conducted the ceremony with Lily's help, as she read the vows aloud for him. "Daniel, do you take Jennifer to be your wife, promising to care for her in sickness and in health, in joy and in sorrow?" "I do." "Jennifer, do you take Daniel to be your husband, promising to care for him in sickness and in health, in joy and in sorrow?" "I do." "Then, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife." The newlyweds' kiss was met with warm applause. Lily showered the couple with flower petals, while Emily, her belly now more pronounced, captured every moment with her camera. During the celebration, Thomas stepped aside for a moment of reflection. He had never imagined his life could feel so complete. His daughter was back in his life, a grandchild was on the way, his career had been renewed, and his extended family now included Lily, Jennifer, and Daniel. "Dr. Thomas," Lily approached, pulling him from his thoughts. "Can I tell you a secret?" "Always, Lily." "The day I met you, I knew you'd see again." "How did you know?" "Because you had the saddest eyes I'd ever seen. And eyes only get that sad when someone has seen beautiful things before. I knew if you saw beautiful things again, your eyes would shine once more." Thomas hugged Lily, overcome with emotion. "And they did, Lily. They really did." "Dr. Thomas, can I ask you for one more thing?" "Of course." "When I grow up, I want to be a doctor just like you. Will you teach me?" "Lily, you've been teaching me for a year now. I think we can learn together." "Deal." That evening, Thomas was at home when he received an unexpected call. It was from a hospital in New York City. "Dr. Thomas, this is Dr. Michael Anderson, Director of Metropolitan General Hospital. We're establishing an assistive medicine department based on your work. We'd like to discuss the possibility of you leading this project." "Dr. Michael, I'm honored by the invitation, but I have an inseparable partner here. I can't accept anything that doesn't include Lily." "Actually, we've heard about Lily. We'd like to meet her too. How about both of you coming for a visit next week?" Thomas hung up the phone and smiled. His life was taking turns he'd never imagined. The following Monday, Thomas and Lily were at the airport, preparing to fly to New York City. It was Lily's first time on a plane. "Dr. Thomas, are you nervous?" "A little, Lily, and you?" "Me too, but I'm more curious than nervous." During the flight, Lily described everything she saw out the window to Thomas. The clouds like cotton candy, the tiny cities below, the sky changing colors as the sun moved. In New York City, they were greeted by a team of doctors eager to implement the techniques they had developed. "Dr. Thomas," Dr. Michael said, "we want to establish the first center of excellence in assistive medicine in the country here. Would you consider relocating to New York City?" Thomas glanced at Lily, who was listening intently. "Dr. Michael, I need to discuss this with my team before giving an answer." That night at the hotel, Thomas called Emily. "Sweetheart, I need to tell you about a proposal we received." After explaining everything, Emily was silent for a moment. "Dad, this is an incredible opportunity, but what about Lily? She's just a child." "That's exactly why I need to think carefully. I can't make a decision that affects her future. Why don't you ask her what she wants?" Thomas knocked on the door of Lily and Jennifer's room, who had traveled together. "Lily, can I come in?" "Of course, Dr. Thomas." Lily was drawing on a piece of paper. "What are you drawing?" "I'm drawing what the hospital in New York City could look like with our patients. Lily, I need to ask you something important. If you could choose, would you rather stay at home or come work here in New York City?" Lily stopped drawing and looked at Thomas seriously. "Dr. Thomas, my mom always said we need to go where we can help the most people. Here in New York City, how many more people could we help?" "Many, Lily, many." "Then I think we should come, but only if my mom and Daniel can come too." "What if they don't want to?" "Then we stay home. Family always comes first." Thomas hugged Lily, impressed by the girl's maturity. The next day, Dr. Michael made a proposal that surprised everyone. "Thomas, besides hiring you as director of the assistive medicine department, we'd like to offer Lily a full scholarship. She could study at one of the best schools in New York City and at the same time continue working with you at the hospital." "What about her parents?" "Daniel is a nursing technician, right? We have openings for him here, and for Jennifer too, in the administrative department." Thomas could hardly believe what he was hearing. "Dr. Michael, I need some time to think." "Of course, but know that we rarely make such comprehensive offers. You're special." During the flight back, Lily was quiet, looking out the window. "Lily, what are you thinking?" "I'm thinking life is funny, Dr. Thomas." "Why?" "A year ago, I was just a girl with a sick mom. Now I'm a famous doctor's partner and might live in a big city." "How do you feel about that?" "Happy, but also a little scared." "Scared of what?" Scared I won't be able to help people here like I do back home. Thomas took Lily's small hand. Lily, do you know the first thing you taught me? What? That helping people doesn't depend on where we are, but on who we are. You'll always be the Lily who sees with her heart, whether at home or in New York City. Lily smiled and looked out the window again. Dr. Thomas, can I tell you another secret? Always. When I said I'd make you see again, I didn't know how I'd do it. I just knew I would. And you did, Lily. In a way, I never imagined possible. Back in town, Thomas gathered the whole family to discuss the New York City proposal. Present were Emily, Jennifer, Daniel, Lily, and even Dr. Stephen, who had become an integral part of the group. Everyone, Thomas began, we've received an offer that could change our lives, but it's only worth it if we all agree. After explaining all the details, the group fell silent, each processing the information. Daniel was the first to speak. Thomas, Jennifer and I talked yesterday. We think it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Lily. If she wants to go, we support her. What about me? Asked Stephen. Am I part of the team too? Actually, Stephen, Dr. Michael mentioned they'd like to learn about your techniques as well. They'd probably have an offer for you. Emily, who had been quiet until then, spoke up. Dad, I know this is an amazing opportunity, but are you sure it's what you want? Sweetheart, for 2 years I thought my life was over. Lily showed me it was just beginning in a different way. Now I have the chance to help others discover that too. Then you have my support, and I promise I'll visit you all the time. Actually, Emily, Lily interrupted, New York City has really good hospitals for babies. You could have your child there. Everyone laughed at Lily's spontaneity. Lily, are you already planning our move? Thomas asked, amused. I'm not planning, I'm dreaming. And my mum always said big dreams need big courage. Jennifer hugged her daughter, moved. Lily's right. I think it's time for us to be brave. A week later, Thomas called Dr. Michael. Dr. Michael, this is Dr. Thomas. I have an answer for you. I'm listening. We accept the offer, all of us. Excellent. When can you start? Lily finishes the school year in 2 months. We can move at the end of the year. Perfect. I'll start preparing everything. The next 2 months flew by. Thomas and Lily continued working at the hospital, but now with the excitement of a new adventure ahead. Stephen also received an offer to join the team in New York City. On their last day at the hospital, the staff organized a farewell party. Patients who had been treated by the duo came back to say goodbye. The hallway was filled with posters and drawings made by the children in the ward. Dr. Thomas, one of the nurses, said, "You'll both be greatly missed here. We'll miss you too, but you know you can always visit us." Lily was running down the hallway, hugging everyone she knew. When she reached Thomas, her eyes were glistening. Dr. Thomas, I'm sad and happy at the same time. Is that normal? It's very normal, Lily. It means you love this place, but you're also excited for the new challenge. Do you think we'll be able to help a lot of people in New York City? I'm sure of it, Lily. And do you know why? Why? Because you taught me that the most important thing isn't where we are, but how we see the people who need help. 3 months later, Thomas and Lily were settled in New York City, working at the new Assistive Medicine Center. The program had become a success, attracting doctors and patients from all over the country. Lily, now 5 years old, attended a special school in the morning and worked with Thomas at the hospital in the afternoon. She had adapted perfectly to her new life, making friends quickly and learning new things every day. One day, while treating a patient, Lily made an observation that surprised Thomas. "Dr. Thomas, have you noticed your voice changed?" "What do you mean, Lily?" "Before, when we first met, your voice sounded sad. Now it's happy. Even when you're focused, I can hear a little smile in it." Thomas paused and reflected on Lily's words. "You know, Lily, you're right. I do feel different. It's because you've started seeing for real again. Lily, can I confess something to you?" "Of course. At first, when you said you'd make me see again, I thought it was just a child's silly idea. And now? Now, I know you kept your promise. I really did start seeing again. I see hope, love, friendship, family. I see a future I thought was gone. Lily smiled and hugged Thomas. Doctor, Thomas, can I tell you something I've never told anyone? Always, Lily. That first time when I said I'd make you see again, I didn't really believe it either. But my mom always said we should say good things out loud, even when we're not sure. That way, they have a better chance of coming true. Your mom is very wise. She is. And do you know what else she used to say? What? That when we help others, we help ourselves too. You helped me save my mom, and I helped you see again. Now we're both whole again. Thomas was moved by Lily's words. She had truly grown so much, yet never lost her special spirit. That afternoon, they were visited by Emily, who was in New York City for her prenatal checkup. Dad, how's the adjustment going? Very well, sweetheart. Lily loves her new school, and the work here is even more rewarding than we imagined. And you, Lily? Do you like New York City? I love it, Emily. There are so many doctors here who need to learn to see with their hearts. We're very busy. Emily laughed at Lily's seriousness when talking about work. Lily, can I ask you something? Of course. When my baby is born, can you teach him how to draw eyes like you? I can, and I'll teach him about so many other things too, like how to help people, how to be brave, how to make promises we can keep. Lily, Thomas interrupted, moved. Do you realize how much you've changed my life and the lives of so many others? Dr. Thomas, I didn't change anything alone. We changed everything together. You, me, my mom, Daniel, Emily, Dr. Stephen, everyone together. You're right, Lily. Teamwork always works better. 6 months later, Emily gave birth to a beautiful boy who was named William Thomas in honor of his grandfather. Lily was enchanted by the baby and began visiting him every week. Dr. Thomas, Lily said one day while watching William sleep, do you think when he grows up, he'll want to be a doctor too? I don't know, Lily, but I do know that with you around, he'll learn about compassion and determination from an early age. And if he has a disability, like you did, then he'll be lucky enough to grow up knowing that disability isn't a limitation, it's just a different way of living. Lily grew thoughtful. Dr. Thomas, can I ask you a philosophical question? Thomas smiled. Lily had recently learned the word philosophical and loved using it. Of course, Lily. Do you think the bad things that happen in life serve a purpose? What do you think? I think so. If my mum hadn't gotten sick, we never would have met. If you hadn't lost your sight, you'd never have learned to see with your heart. Lily, that's a very profound observation. My mum always said God works in mysterious ways. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think it's about this. Thomas hugged Lily, once again amazed by the girl's wisdom. A year later, the Assistive Medicine Center had become an international reference. Doctors from various countries came to learn the techniques developed by Thomas, Lily, and Stephen. Their story had been documented in books and scientific articles. Dr. Thomas, Lily said one day after a presentation for foreign doctors, do you think we're famous? I think so, Lily. How does it feel to be famous? Good, but you know what I like most? What? I love when the doctors who come here leave changed. They arrive sad, thinking they can't work anymore, and they leave hopeful. That's exactly what makes me proudest too. That afternoon they were visited by a journalist who wanted to write a story about them. Dr. Thomas, what was the most memorable moment of this journey? Without a doubt, it was when Lily made her first proposal at the hospital. Cure my mom, and I'll make you see again. At the time, I thought it was just a child's desperation. Now I know it was the beginning of my true medical career. And you, Lily, what was your favorite moment? Lily thought for a moment. It was when I realized Dr. Thomas had truly learned to see again, not with his eyes, but with something much more important. With what? With his heart. When we see with our hearts, we can see things our eyes will never show. The journalist was moved by her answer. Lily, you're only 6 years old, but you speak like a very wise person. How did you learn these things? I learned from my mum, from Dr. Thomas, and from all the patients we help. They've taught me that being strong isn't about not being afraid. It's about being afraid and helping anyway. After the journalist left, Thomas and Lily talked about the interview. Lily, you said such beautiful things today. I just said what I feel in my heart, Dr. Thomas. And do you know what's the most amazing thing? What? You kept your promise in a way neither of us could have imagined at the beginning. How so? You said you'd make me see again. And it made me see the beauty of life again, the value of friendship, the importance of family, and most of all, my own worth as a person and as a doctor. Lily smiled and took Thomas's hand. Dr. Thomas, can I tell you one last secret? Of course, Lily. I always knew we'd be a family. From the very first day, you, me, my mom, Daniel, Emily, William, Dr. Stephen, all together. How did you know? Because real families aren't just people born together. They're people who choose each other and decide to take care of one another. Thomas hugged Lily with tears in his eyes. Lily, you didn't just make me see again, you made me live again. And you taught me that big dreams can come true when we don't give up. That night, Thomas was in his apartment in New York City, reflecting on everything that had happened since that first meeting with Lily at the hospital. His life had completely changed in ways he could never have imagined. The phone rang. It was Dr. Stephen. Thomas, I just got an interesting call. A hospital in Los Angeles wants to create an assistive medicine center based on our work. What do you think? I think it's time to expand. We can train a new team there while continuing our work here. Stephen, do you realize how far we've come? I do. And it all started with an impossible promise from a 4-year-old girl. It wasn't impossible, Stephen. It was just different from what we imagined. The next day, Thomas told Lily about the possibility of expanding their work to other cities. Dr. Thomas, does that mean we'll help even more people? It does, Lily. Then I'm all for it. But I have one condition. Thomas laughed. Lily always had conditions. What is it? I want every hospital we help to have a drawing of eyes on the wall, to remind doctors there are different ways of seeing. Lily, that's the best idea you've ever had. Dr. Thomas, can I ask you one last question? Always, Lily. Are you happy? Thomas paused to think about the question. 3 years ago, he thought he'd never be happy again. Now, surrounded by people he loved, doing work he loved, he was sure of the answer. Lily, I'm very happy. And you? Me too. And you know why? Why? Because I've learned that the best way to be happy is to make others happy too. Thomas hugged Lily one last time that day, knowing tomorrow would bring new challenges, new patients to help, and new lives to touch. As they walked through the hospital halls, Lily suddenly stopped. Dr. Thomas, remember the promise I made on the first day? I do. Cure my mom, and I'll make you see again. Do you think I kept it? Thomas stopped too and knelt to Lily's height. Lily, you didn't just keep your promise. You gave me far more than I ever asked for. You gave me a family, a purpose, a new way to live. And you kept your part too. My mom is cured and happy. So our promise was kept on both sides. Dr. Thomas, can I make a new promise? What is it? I promise to keep being your eyes for as long as you need. And do you promise to keep being my best doctor friend? I promise, Lily. I promise. The two continued walking down the hall hand in hand, ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring. Because they had learned that the most important promises aren't the ones we make with words, but the ones we keep with our hearts. The end. What did you think of Dr. Thomas and Lily's story? Share your thoughts in the comments about this incredible journey of perseverance and friendship. Do you believe our greatest limitations can become our greatest gifts? Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for more heartwarming stories.